What's up, Middle Georgia Dog Pound? Welcome to another edition of the Middle Georgia Dog Pound Live. I'm your host, Brian. Matt, Kevin, what's up, fellas?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Doing great. Another great win between the hedges last week. We're going to go over it and talk about some fun stuff that happened with the upsets in week 2 that we always get to talk about and get to see each and every college football season. But before we get into all of that, let's go over our housekeeping tidbits. As you guys know, if this is your first time on the show and you're watching from Facebook, go to StreamYard.com/Facebook to give Facebook permission to use your name and your photo on the show. We definitely want to hear your comments. We love talking to everyone and getting your comments on the show each and every week. Definitely want to hear from you there. If you have a business or you have a product or you just want to be on the show, hit us up at middlegeorgiadogpound@gmail.com, middle DAWG pound@gmail.com, and we'll be glad to reach back out to you and talk about what we can do to help you with your business or your product, promoting on the show. All right. Well, good guys. Good job, guys. Everything seems to be working great today. So knock on some wood. We have no technical difficulties at this point, and everything is going great. So I am extremely surprised because by now we've already had some sort of technical difficulty and things are going sideways. But with that, let's roll the highlights from.
Let's do it. Real quick, guys. Pursue better all week. Always better all week. Always talking about. Get you ready to go. You go. Get you ready to go. You go. You pursue better today. I want you to think about something. I want you to think about something. Every one of you think about the standard that was set around. Standard that was set around. God is older than you. I don't care if you're a freshman and you came here or if you're a fifth-year senior right now. Somebody was here before you that set a standard. That guy didn't care who he was playing against or where he was playing against them. Today, that's your job. Today, that's your chance to carry that same standard by what you do.
Turn it up! Let's turn it up! No matter who it is, let's turn it up! Let's turn it up!
Our standard is to be explosive.
Do what we do! He said, do what we do! Trying to go, Sal. Trying to go, brother.
I mean, go out, impose your will, make them tap from the very start.
Make sure they know who they play today, because when your goes on the field, you set the standard. You stay locked in, you get the adjustment. You got me? I'm down at line of scrimmage now the whole game. Let's go.
Miss, and now he's off to the races across midfield. Yeah, touchdown. One throw, one catch, one score. Dylan Bell.
Hey, that because of you, boy.
And they're coming after him, and he will go down on the turf. KJ Bolden with a blitz around the right edge.
Yeah, KJ.
Across the middle and trotting into the end zone is Colby Young for an easy, uncontested score. And just like that, Georgia's up 13-0. And he just slides to the turf again as Kristen Miller was ready to squat on top of him.
We can all relax. We play to a standard.
Roll him up! Bullet is caught in the front right corner, right at the pylon. Touchdown, Georgia. Dominic Lovett. And then a soft jog into the end zone. The defender never could catch him. That's a touchdown.
Let's finish. It's our turn. It's our turn. Hey, it's our turn.
He's running to the right. He dropped the football. It's loose. Georgia does have it. Dan Jackson is the man out of the pile that recovered it. Georgia has it, the first turnover of the game. And a wide open receiver, Lawson Lucky, caught at the 17, down the near sideline and into the end zone. An easy walk for a touchdown. And give it to Robinson. He's fighting off defenders, running his way, bulling his way into the end zone, straight ahead. Touchdown, Georgia.
You bet, baby. You bet. All right,
Good stuff, guys. I was thoroughly impressed with our team this week. Typically, after a big game, we come out with a little bit of a lackluster performance, and I did not feel like our dogs did that this week. I feel like they played to the standard, as we saw in that video. We definitely executed, and I felt pretty comfortable about how things turned out at the end. I know my brother over there was a little disappointed because he thought he had picked the exact same score and was like, I'm going to get a bonus point on the pick'ems because I got the exact score. And they let the other team go down the field and kick a field goal. So, buddy, tip my hat to you. It was close. It was close.
I was what, 4 seconds away.
Something like that.
Almost had it called it.
Almost exactly what the score was going to be. So, kudos to you, Matt. What was your takeaways from this weekend's game?
Like you, I sent you guys a list of the things I didn't get to talk about last show about my nitpicky things from the game before, and I was checking them off as we kind of went through the game and sent them to you. I mean, there's still some things that we need to continue to work on. I mean, there's always going to be that way, and then, once again, us over analyzing it because it's so early in the season and stuff is unnecessarily critical. But definitely like to see the explosiveness coming out of the first half. I like taking that shot down the first. That's one thing that we always knew was coming when we had Stetson, right? If we got a turnover, we got a big play. Monken was going to do another big play right behind it. He wasn't going to he was always going to stack it on top of it and kill their emotional drives and any kind of benefit they had. So it was good to see that defense still stellar, man. There was one little drive. They had like 13 plays for a drive, but, that's going to happen from time to time. That quarterback was scared. I think at some point the coach said, hey, if they get near you, just fall. Don't let them tackle you. Don't get injured. Don't get hurt because our other quarterback was already hurt. So I think it was, so some of those things probably may have not been as easy in the future when it comes to the sacks and the pressure because the quarterback just won't give up. But it was fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, totally agree. It did seem like that quarterback was not interested in scrambling whatsoever. Kevin, what was your takeaways?
The running game is coming in on our side. It was good to see ETN play in this game. It was nice to get an idea of what he was going to do, and he did not disappoint at all. Kind of filled that role of where I thought he was going to be. It looks like we've got two. We got two of the like James Cook style running backs, and then one of like the Nick Chubb style running backs, the power, the bruiser. So yeah, the running game is what impressed me. I was impressed also when we come out and we scored so fast in that very first drive. I mean, it's just bam, 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 and there was 7 points on the board. It was nice to see them attack very, very quickly. I know that that's been something that we have been harping on. Is like they start so slow. It takes them forever to get in a rhythm and get going. So that was one of the things that was really good for me to see was, we hammered it really quick in that first drive and got us a score.
Yeah, I totally agree. It definitely helps when your punt returner returned it to the opposing team's 20, right? And you can score easily in one play. So yeah, it definitely helps. That was another guy I was impressed with was Anthony Evans. I mean, he has done a great job with ball security, knock on wood, and he goes and gets it, man. And so, and that step he made after he caught that ball, I mean, he had somebody in his face, caught the ball, stutter step, and took it to the opposing team's 20. So yeah, it was definitely nice to see. Well, how about some of these other teams that we did not expect to lay eggs? Matt?
Oh my gosh, you would have thought that we won another national championship when Notre Dame went down to my house. It was awesome. I love it because I hate Notre Dame. I hate them with passion. those dirty, rotten Catholics. I mean, no offense to those. I'm just joking out there, but right? But I mean, I was so excited. I was watching every second of that game when I had a chance to. I was so excited for it. It was great to watch it go down. I loved it.
What I did not realize was that Northern Illinois has done that to several teams. I mean, I saw, and I wish I'd have put it on the show tonight, but I saw at one point that they had this bone wall. I guess because they're the Huskies, right? The Northern Illinois Huskies, and they have a bone wall. And for each team that they've beat like that, they have a year and the score and a bone and a plaque for every big D1 school that they've beat like that, and so it's pretty cool for them. And then kudos to them for being ranked 25th, right? They hit the AP poll, and I don't know if that's ever happened. I can't remember a time that they've ever been ranked. So kudos to them for getting some accolades this week. But
there were some years. There were some years in the early 2000s where I forget one of the coaches that's one of the Big Five programs now. I'm not sure if it was it Brian Kelly or it was someone like that who took that program over and had it for about 5 years, and they were in the top 10 at some point in some of those polls. They went undefeated a couple years in a row, kind of like Boise State did for a while during the early 2000s. So yeah, it's been a while.
John Keke says they were in the Orange Bowl not long ago.
Yeah.
Leave it to the professor to keep us all straight. Kevin, what would you think about Georgia Tech, man? Did they lay an egg or what?
I was sorely disappointed. That's been my little underdog teams going into this year. I was hoping that they could just kind of muscle on along. I was very shocked that Syracuse knocked them off. But hey, kudos to Syracuse. Maybe they have a viable opportunity to win the ACC. So I know that conference is wide open this year for the taking. So
sure is.
It's going to be interesting to watch that one.
Sure is. Well, nothing makes you feel any better though when you have the head coach call him out that he took this game personal. And if you guys don't know, Fran Brown was our defensive backs coach last year, and he was hired as the head coach for Syracuse. And this is what he had to say after the game.
So it's a big difference when you know who I am and you come at me about toughness. Like, don't do that. I took this game was very personal. And then you know that I coach with Kirby Smart and Muschamp. So why would we not be a tough physical football team? That's just what they do, and that's what we're about, and that's where I was at. And I did take that very personal. And I want to make sure everyone understands that when you play us, just be quiet.
I love it. I love it. Poor Georgia Tech. They can't go anywhere without getting overshadowed by the Dogs, can they?
No.
Anywhere they go. You go all the way up to the Northeast, and the Dogs still are hunting you. Still hunting you. So
this is kind of what Syracuse does over the last few years. They have like a great start to the season. Well, they'll win like 6-7 games in a row, be undefeated, and reality hits and attrition hits, and they just fall off at the back end of the year. So let's see if he can maintain it the rest of the year. So definitely that quarterback's playing way better there than he did at Ohio State, which is crazy. You think Ohio State had all that talent, all that talent around you, and you couldn't put up numbers. And now you go to this school with less talent and you're putting up more numbers. Just shows you maybe it's coaching.
Yeah. I don't know, though. I mean, when you had Fran Brown, they asked him what the difference was in the game. He said, Kyle McCord. He said, it's like having another coach on the field. So maybe he is a lot better than what we originally thought. And, of course, they bought him. Syracuse bought him to come over there. Why do you leave Ohio State to go to Syracuse unless you're getting paid some big money? So, but yeah, kudos to Syracuse. We'll see what they can do for the rest of the season, and see if they end up in the ACC championship. Any other games that surprised you this week?
I think all of us are a little bit surprised by the the struggles of some of the teams early on in the first 3 quarters of games that they pulled off in the fourth quarter, which is great, which is fine. But just some of the struggles some of these teams are having. I mean, Alabama was a struggle for a while, and all of a sudden they, you blink and they score 40 points. So it's 30 points. So that's definitely that shows you that potential of putting points on you. But that team apparently has their number for 3 quarters every time they play them. And then they just beat them at the very end, which is what good teams do. Good teams win and beat you like that. But it just took a little while for it to get started.
Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. Well, definitely want to make sure that we give a little nod to our good friend John Akaki with his professor's take for the day. Let me see if I can get his portion of the show on here, and we will hear from Mr. Akaki. And there we go.
Good afternoon, Middle Georgia Dog Pound. It is Friday the 13th, 2024. This is your professor coming to you with a little bit of knowledge and history, as well as some colloquialism type of language, Southern idioms and so forth. Just to reflect, we're playing Kentucky this Saturday night, 7:30. It's going to be a rancorous crowd up there at night in Lexington, Kentucky, once called Commonwealth Stadium, now called Kroger Field. I'm actually recording this in the Kroger Shopping Center here on Zebulon Road. I figure if I give Kroger a little respect, maybe we'll get some respect up there in Lexington at night. Tough place to play. A lot of things happened. Last week, South Carolina came in there and took Mark Stoops' team to the barn, 31-6, and it looked awful. Here's a little Southern saying. It says, "You can't make a silk purse out of a sow's ear." What are they saying there? We're not talking about purses. The phrase means that if something isn't good to begin with, you can't make anything of value from it. And I'm sure the way Stoops is feeling right now, he's wondering what kind of team he has. Brock Vandergriff and Dumas Johnson probably wondering what they've done here to themselves. And I'm sure they're going to try to recover from that heavy loss, which, again, South Carolina manhandled them. Kentucky committed so many fouls and holding penalties, and they were overmanned, and they didn't look very good, and Brock was running for his life. But a little bit of history lesson today. You hear about pick six, pick 'em, the pigskin, and I want to focus in on the word pigskin. Our footballs have historically been known as pigskins, and how did that happen? Are they still of pigskins? Certainly not. We don't use pigs anymore, and I'm going to give you a little bit of background on that. Right now, they're cowhide. They're pelted cowhide with a little bit of grip action to it, and they 80% of them are cowhide, and about 20% are vulcanized rubber synthetic type balls. But primarily in the pros and college, we use a pigskin football made out of cowhide. Now, years ago, in the early mid 1800s, 1860, because so much football was started up in the Northeast, a lot of people are unaware that Giant Stadium is an area that once was pig farmers, and it was Secaucus and Hackensack, New Jersey, where there was a tremendous amount of pig farms and so forth. But they had the crazy idea, and the American football actually comes from a rugby ball. It was more like a plum shaped, and at some point it gained the spherical size and shape due to the way the game evolved. We used to have a running game. The more we moved to a passing attack, we had to make that ball easy for a quarterback to grip. Hence comes the pointed type sides, the 4 seams, and there's a lot of things that changed. The pigskin was a pig bladder skin inflated around some other type of skin, usually leather of some sort. Back in the old days, they even used white balls to differentiate so they could see it at night, because occasionally they'd play in the late afternoon, it'd get dark, and they used some white balls. The NFL even put stripes on their balls when they went to night games back before we had LED lighting. And there's a lot of history there. The NFL ball, for the longest, had the word Duke on it, the Duke, and it still has the word the Duke on it, which comes from the New York Giants long-term owner, the Mara family, Wellington Mara, who so eloquently pretty much started the NFL and got involved with the NFL teams. There used to be an AFL, but to give you a little bit more background, I'm looking here through my notes. Charles Goodyear developed vulcanization, which was the rubbering of making rubber, man-made rubber. And hence comes the Goodyear tires, the Goodyear blimp, which is synonymous with college football. But that's a little bit about looking back. Wilson is the primary manufacturer of college balls and pro balls. The pressure inside the ball is 12.5 to 13.5 psi's per square inch. The weight of the ball is 14 to 15 ounces. And, 16 ounces would be 1 pound. So that ball's pretty light, but it is made out of cowhide. I just want to say I'm looking forward to the game tomorrow night. I hope you'll tune in. We've got a great team here, the Whiteheads and Matt and Matt Judd, and they do a wonderful job. I hope you enjoy Paul's calls and Krug's crunches. Some of the ex-teammates that I played with and I know are participating in this show. We want to bring on people like Carmen Prince and some other people that want to come on the show as guests. But we hope that you'll continue to tune in and enjoy the show. Go Dogs. I'm picking the Dogs over Kentucky. I'm thinking it's going to be a tough game. 28-10, 35-10. I don't think anybody's going to score more than 10 points on our team this year until we get to, say, Alabama and Texas. So I look for our defense to dominate. All right, this is your professor out. Enjoy your night, Friday the 13th. Don't do anything crazy. Take care. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs indeed. Go Dogs indeed. I love hearing his little monologue there. Do appreciate Mr. Akaki participating this year. It's been a lot of fun adding the professor's lesson in to our show, and he always has something comical and interesting and intriguing to share. So thank you so much, John, for doing that. Paul Petrisco says, Brian, I think you've created a monster. Once John starts talking, just let him go. Exactly. Grady Darcy says, I don't think UGA will slip up, but UK wants to try to sink our Dogs. I would bet the Dogs come out and punch them in the grill. It's still going to be a fight. Yeah, it always is a fight in Lexington, and that is for sure. Well, guys, we had a lot of good videos from this past week that I wanted to share. If I can get everything to work like it's supposed to. So our next segment is Paul's calls, and Paul provided us some great videos and some interesting calls on the field, and I can't wait for you guys to see them, and we'll talk about them a little bit.
Play 2, the offense has first and goal, and they're snapping inside the 10. And we're going to see the quarterback, he drops back, and he's going to throw to the far boundary, completes the pass to number 80, who's in the open, and he drives into the end zone. But we see a flag come in from our side judge for offensive pass interference. Now, as we go back and take a look at the replay, we see that the outside receiver, he comes back toward the ball, and he's going to block the player in coverage, springing the receiver open for the catch and subsequent touchdown. Now, we see the officials come together to discuss the play, and as we go back and take a look again, we see that the snap is at the 7-yard line, and the ball is actually caught just behind the neutral zone, and by rule, to have a foul for offensive pass interference or even defensive pass interference, the pass must cross the neutral zone. Clearly here, the receiver touched the ball behind the neutral zone, and the officials are going to pick up the flag, there's no foul, and the play results in a touchdown.
I thought that was extremely interesting. I was watching that game when that happened, and I couldn't believe it when they did it. I was like, "Oh, that's offensive pass interference. That was a pick play all day." And then they picked it up and explained it, and I was completely floored that they picked it up. But good explanation there. All right, let's roll to the next one.
Play 4, we're going to look at substitution mechanics. And we know that by rule, anytime the offense substitutes, the defense gets the opportunity to match up. And per our official CCA mechanics, offensive players going into their team area just after the play, we go through our substitution mechanics just as if there's a substitute, because it can be impossible for the defense or officials to tell in real time if the offense subs in this type situation. So we see the runner goes into the team area, and so we're going to work through our substitution mechanics. We see that the referee, he has the T signal up, and the center judge is in place at the center as not to allow the snap. Now, the offense is trying to go fast, and they're going to snap the ball before the referee releases the center judge. Now, the crew, they simply shut the play down, and that's correct, and there's no penalty the first time this happens in the game. But the referee gives notice to the head coach that if they snap the ball with the center judge in place during the substitution process again during that game, it will result in an unsportsmanlike conduct foul against the offense.
I have never, ever seen that happen before. So that is the craziest thing I've ever seen. While I was watching it, I was thinking, it's a wonder that center judge didn't have his ankle or his leg stepped on and broke his leg. I mean, them dudes are like twice.
I think he was going to get trucked right there.
Yes. Holy cow. Yeah, so that is definitely an interesting one. I've never seen that happen before. So very cool one. All right, here's the next one.
Play 5, the offense is going to punt from their own 42. Now we see the receiver's in place to make the catch at the 12, but he's going to muff the ball. A kicking team player deflects the ball as he's attempting to recover, and the ball rolls back into the end zone. It's a free ball, and there's a big scramble, and the officials ultimately determine the recovery is by a receiving team player in their own end zone. So what's the ruling here? Many thought this might be a safety, but by rule, the impetus imparted to the ball is by the kick, a punt in this case, and the kick is responsible for the ball's progress here, and even though the ball was deflected, it's still a kick, and since the receivers gained possession of the kick in its own end zone, the play results in a touchback. Now, had the kicking team player recovered in the end zone, it would have been a touchdown for the kicking team, but this play was properly ruled a touchback and not a safety.
Yeah, that one's definitely interesting. I had no concerns that wasn't a touchback, but what was your thoughts, Kevin? I know you want to say something.
That one I thought was going to be, I guess like everybody else thought that was going to be a safety, because it was touched by the receiving team, and then touched by the kicking team, and then it went into the end zone, and then he recovered it in the end zone. So, yeah, that's a good one.
Paul says incidental touching is ignored. So how about that? So on the previous play, he commented before I could, I rolled the next footage before I could put his comment up. He said preventative officiating will help prevent this call. So I guess he was talking about having the official get trucked. If they do some preventative officiating, it can help prevent that from happening. So pretty cool. All right, let's see. I think I got one more here.
Our last play this week, we see we're late in the half. The offense has made a first down inbounds with 18 seconds, and the clock is stopped temporarily to award the offense a first down. And we know that the clock will start back on the referee's ready for play signal. Now, the offense wants to spike the ball to stop the clock, and they're allowed to do this by rule. But as we watch the play, there are two caveats to the spike rule. Number one, the spike is illegal if it doesn't occur immediately after the passer controls the ball. And it's illegal and is considered intentional grounding if it's thrown after the ball has already touched the ground. And we see that the ball did touch the ground here before the spike, and we get a good announcement by our referee.
The quarterback picked up the ball after he hit the ground, and he spiked it. That's intentional grounding by the quarterback.
As also noted in the announcement, since this pass is after the 2-minute timeout and it's ruled intentional grounding and stop the clock, it is subject to a 10-second runoff. So the clock is reset from 15 seconds to 5 seconds, and it will start on the referees ready for play. Now, the offense was out of timeouts here, but if they had a timeout, they could use that timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff.
Yeah, that one was interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that happen either. That was it makes you wonder with Hugh Freeze. Are you not going over these scenarios with these players? I don't know.
Do you remember that time though when Bo Nix did the grounding? He did it sideways. And
oh yeah.
Was it ended up being like a fumble or something, or it was the same kind of premise? But
yeah, that's right.
It's funny how with both the same school, both did on different quarterbacks, right?
Yep. Good stuff. Good stuff. So Reddy Darcy says, would have thought it would have been back where it was originally touched. I guess he's talking about the kick punt muff there, where he muffed that kickoff. So, yep. Interesting. Well, guys, we are at that point. It is time for the Krugs Crunches, and I cannot wait to hear it. All right. So there was a lot of videos, guys. I'm telling you, I went through a ton of hard hits this week. Last week, no hard hits. It was only just a few. This week, tons of hard hits. So I pulled out the best ones. Otherwise, it would be another John Akaki video.
3rd down and goal. Pressure coming. Moss to Branch, and he gets stopped. Stuck by J.D. Drew.
Playing that corner position, drives on it. Perfect textbook tackle. Trying to get Branch in space a little bit. But Drew did not.
Corner, of course. Play action. Raiola. He'll just dump it down. This is Ja'Cory Barney, true freshman. He absorbs a massive hit on the sideline. And that's a completion, but they get no yards.
Blitz right now. They're going to bring the pressure here. You call it the NCAA blitz.
And the first sack of the game. Ball pops loose. A helmet also rolling on the turf. And it's recovered by Western Kentucky. Darius Thomas, a huge blow. And the first turnover of the football.
Passes. See if they have another 3rd down conversion in them. They do. Same guy who got the last one, Dakari Collins, made the catch.
And they got 2 guys that are worried about him to the outside. Boy, big hit there by Peely there. Physical, but an outstanding job, Reese.
Pressure coming, and he's taken down, and the ball is on the ground. Ball is on the ground. Dre Butler with the hit on Harrell, and he's making his presence known early in this one.
Yeah, Dre Butler, just a nice inside move, beats Howard Sampson. Unbelievable motor that Butler has. He is one of the leaders on this football team, and he delivers.
Bobbled it, got it, and Pierre had the helmet down. Bobbled it, got it, and Pierre had the helmet down.
I had to run that one twice, y'all. That sucker was ridiculous. Oh my gosh, those definitely lived up to the Krug Crunch standard, and we definitely wanted to pay homage to our good buddy Bill and run those hard hitting videos from this past week. So yeah, that was some good ones. That last one there, where Syracuse player hit the Notre Dame player. I've never seen a mouthpiece fly that far.
I think I sent you that one. I realized that one was from last year, but it still deserved a hit on this segment since we didn't have this last year.
Yep, that was a good one. Yeah, that was a good one. Good deal. Good deal. Well, guys, we are at the point now where we are gonna break this Kentucky game down and the only way you can do it right is by running that hype video. So here we go.
Back to work. You satisfied yet? We're just getting started. You gotta want it. 1% better every day. Dogs? They want more. Never satisfied. Pursuing a hunger. Always striving for the same thing. It doesn't have a name. It doesn't have a face. It's a mission.
Our standard is our motivation. Elite don't get bored.
Not just meeting the standard, but raising it, week after week.
There's a standard when you go out here and play that you play to. Today, that's your chance to carry that same standard by what you do.
No matter the color, no matter the helmet, no matter the logo, it's about the team.
The grind doesn't stop. The climb never ends. The desire is to pursue better.
Yes, sir. My boy. Man, he has showed up this year, man, and I couldn't have picked a better narrator for the hype video, man. That was awesome. That was awesome. Well, guys, we are on to the Kentucky Wild Kitties. As you guys know, their mascot is the Wildcat, and the name of their mascot is the Wildcat. They also have a more child-friendly version of the Wildcat. His name is Scratch. We don't have him pictured here, but that's all we have to say about that. Head coach is Mark Stoops. You guys know him well. He is the longest tenured head coach in the SEC. He's been at Kentucky since 2013. He was the 2018 SEC Coach of the Year, and he is making a whopping $6.75 million a year to coach the Kentucky Wild Kitties at Kroger Field. So, Matt, bring us up to speed on what we need to be expecting from the Kentucky offense, my friend.
All right, so let's get into this. Actually, before we get started, I actually was surprised you didn't use the Krugs Crunches with the line judge, or I'm sorry, the line judge, the center judge taking out Munden during our game last week. That was actually pretty good.
Yeah,
he totally gave him that elbow and knocked him out. So it was awesome.
Yep,
but it's good.
I should have used that one.
No, it's good. So let's get into the offense here. If we're being honest, I think all of us still have in our head the view of Kentucky from what we saw last week from South Carolina coming into town there. I mean, they kind of ruined the plan for a lot of us, even TV. I think game day was planning on being there, and then what happened, it kind of ruined all their plans as well. But you know, we're really going to dig into a little bit of it and see what happened. I know this team has really been struggling a little bit because they, you know, the first game they only played 3/4 of a game because of the weather stuff that's going on. And then now, you know, they had a rough week last week. Were they looking ahead to us? Maybe so, because it kind of did a flip-flop. They looked great first week. South Carolina struggled the first week. And then this week they just kind of flip-flopped it. And so what Jekyll and Hyde are we going to see tomorrow as we hit the field? I don't know. So as we get to the players, we have our quarterback, which we all know and love, Vandergriff. He was a great backup for us. He was a good Georgia loving, UGA loving guy. He didn't leave. He wants some playing time, and you can't refute him for that. But this guy loves Georgia, and it's sad to see him go. But we hope the best for him. But he has not had great numbers so far. So in 2 games, he's had less than 200 yards passing. Some of that's due to last week. He really did not look great last week, and a lot of people are blaming the offensive line, but you just never know. Until we'll see if they've improved from previous week to this week. So he's not showing great numbers. He's got 3 touchdowns, two interceptions. He's only 53% passing average there. So it's really kind of not great for him starting out. As we get into the running backs here, we have the 2 main running backs that I took out. not great numbers either, but I mean they're still averaging about 5 yards a carry. One has about 130 yards, one has 73 yards. It's Sumo Karnbai. I may have said it wrong. I apologize. And then Patterson. These guys, they also don't have a lot of passing yards either. These guys are mainly their running backs. They run the ball. This team is pretty balanced with pass rush ratio. It may be 60-40, but they're still pretty close to the rush over the pass. Once again, some of that's due to the last 2 games they've had. So I think some of these numbers are kind of skewed. So getting to the wide receivers, they have 2 main wide receivers on their list here. We have Key and Brown. Key is their most yards with 96 yards, by averaging 19 yards a catch. And then Brown only has 28 yards, but Brown is also has their most touchdowns. He has 2 touchdowns. So he's the guy they're getting the ball to in the red zone. I do have on here the field goal kicker, because I think this is the only person who's going to score points for us for them this weekend if they score any at all. So I want to put him on there, congratulating him on his 100% so far this year.
Good deal.
Kevin.
Okay, I thought you had something else, my friend.
Nope.
I'm sorry. All right. So, as you guys know, UGA puts out two videos for the week. One's a hype video, one's a game trailer. I pulled both of them, so I'm going to run the other one before Kevin comes on and talks about the defense.
It's always hard to go on the road in the SEC. Fans are always going to be there. Everybody's going to get our best shot. You're in their elements. You're not at home. You don't have that advantage, and only thing you have is the way you play on the field.
Swift's in the backfield. Going to get the carry. DeAndre. Oh, made a man miss at the 20, at the 15, straight ahead, down into the end zone, touchdown, and a brilliant run. Tucky on the Georgia 12. Wilson in trouble in the pocket, going to be sacked back at the 17-yard line. Oh, left guard, 8 yards to the end zone, touchdown. Here comes the pressure. He steps up in the pocket, will get the sack. Bullard throws it into the end zone. Call a touchdown.
Up front, that game always comes down to, I feel like, the trenches position. I feel like Kentucky and Georgia are always going to be great at.
All right. What a trailer. Yeah, I'm going to cover some of this defense here. This is the 8th ranked defense over 2 games this season. They're allowing an average of 191.5 yards per game. That's 4.73 yards per play. So we're facing a pretty good defense when you get down into the numbers of it. I think that their offensive struggles are what's doing them in, just leaving this defense on the field way too long. So that may, bode in our favor the way our defense is playing. I think, if I remember right, I think we have as of right now, we have the 5th or 6th ranked defense overall in college football. So the first player I want to highlight is this Deion Walker. He is a junior. If you remember, this guy, he was talking about going into the transfer portal after last year, and Georgia got after this guy trying to recruit him, and then he decided to come back. But last year he had a total of 55 tackles and 7.5 sacks on the season. So this gentleman right here is no slouch. I know his numbers this year right now are not showing that, but this kid right here is the real deal. As you can see, he's 6'6", 345. This is a big guy. He is going to lean on our offensive line, and we have got to stop him and give Beck time to do what he's got to do. But if we cannot stop this guy, he is going to wreak havoc in our backfield. Moving on is Khalil Saunders. He is a junior 6'5", 291. So far this season, he's got 2 solo tackles. He's 4 total. Last year, he had 17 tackles and 1.5 sacks. This guy is going to be another nightmare for our offensive line. He's going to get in there and try to disrupt our run game. Make it a nightmare to actually try to make any holes in that defensive line. He's going to try to fill those gaps, and he's going to do a good job of it. Then moving on is one we all know. The guys at Georgia nicknamed him Pops. This is JDJ. I think we all have a love for this guy. He stayed around. He hung out. He did what he had to do, and he moved on to Kentucky to try to get more playing time. Hold no grudges against Pops, man. He was there with us in our championship runs. He is a senior this year. As you can see, so far he's got 5 solo tackles and an interception. That interception came off of a tipped pass, and he hustled and got after it and dove and snatched up that ball. So, last year he was with us, and they had 34 total tackles and 3.5 sacks. We all are familiar with JDJ. He is going to leave it all on the field and give it all he got for all 4 quarters. You can rest assured about that. And I know these guys that are coming in and playing against him have nothing but respect for this guy right here. All right, moving on is JJ Weaver. I don't know if you got those slides, Brian.
I do not have JJ Weaver, but
I don't know
sorry.
what happened to them. I sent you. I had several of them. I'm going to cover them real quick.
Go for it.
JJ Weaver is a senior out of Louisville, Kentucky. He's got 2 solo tackles, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. He is a linebacker. Last year, he had 45 total tackles and 7 sacks, 1 forced fumble. This kid is also another linebacker that is going to wreak havoc for their defense. He's going to make it difficult for Georgia in their running game. These guys are loaded in defense, and it didn't show that well against the South Carolina game because I think that they just got overwhelmed on their offense, and these defensive players just got wore down. Next, I got Derek Jackson. He is a senior out of Dublin, Georgia. As you know, I love to pull these guys from the state of Georgia when they're playing for other teams to show that these are guys that are going to be wanting to make a statement against UGA because they are from the state of Georgia. These guys grew up watching Georgia football, and they went on to play for a different school. So far, he's got 5 solo tackles. Last year, he had 89 total tackles and 2 sacks. So this kid is going to get after it. This is also a linebacker. They are loaded at the linebacker spot, man. Then next, I got a DB. He is a senior out of Houston, Texas. So far this year, he's got 8 solo tackles and 1 forced fumble. Last year, he finished the year with 58 total tackles and 1 sack overall. So this is another guy that's going to be disruptive in the pass game. He's going to get handsy. He's going to get in there and don't put it past him to go in for that safety blitz. And then lastly is Alex Afari. He is a junior. So far this year, he's got 6 solo tackles and 1 pass deflected. Last year, he finished with 49 total tackles with 1 sack and 1 forced fumble. These guys are loaded at defensive spot. I said it once and I'll say it again. I think their problem lies with their offense. I think their defense is going to give it all they have. We're going to have our hands full, at least for the first 3 quarters. If their offense can't get anything going, we've got to wear down this defense. If they keep them on the field, we got to keep them, just keep pounding them, and I think they will run up the score at the end of the game.
Good deal, good deal. Sorry about the slides, dude. I thought I got them all, but apparently I don't know how to open an email and then look at all of the slides to make sure that they're all there. So my apologies. Well, guys, we're at that point in the show. Let's get into the pick'ems. What do you say?
Let's do it.
All right. As you guys can see, I am leading the way in the Pick'em Challenge. So we will we'll attribute that to the professor's class on picking games, because obviously I was an astute student and picked up on all of the little tidbits the professor had for us in choosing the right games and the right winners. So there you go. Hopefully this trend will continue through the season, and I will be crowned once again the champion of the Pick'em Challenge. But who's bragging? All right. First game, A&M in the swamp. A&M in the swamp. All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think. Woo! I don't know. Gosh, it's so close, man.
I'm taking Texas A&M.
Yeah, that's what I was leaning
Florida
toward.
is completely trash, man. They are complete trash.
The issue is if we see Mertz or we see the backup quarterback. His name is slipping my mind at this particular moment. But from my understanding, from what I'm hearing, that Mertz is going to start, and you're going to see kind of a dual quarterback play calling. Not really sure how that's going to work out. But right now, I believe that A&M was favored, right? By 4?
Imagine so.
Let's see. Yep, A&M is favored by 4. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it'll come down to the last few minutes. But I'm with Kevin. I think A&M is gonna pull this one out. What you say, Matt?
So here's where the struggle comes for me: is that Texas A&M's quarterback is not very good either. We go back and watch that Notre Dame game, and you can see those two quarterbacks were not very good. It translated again last week when Notre Dame lost. So I worry mostly that the Texas A&M quarterback is going to make a bunch of mistakes to keep Florida in this game, and Florida's eventually going to pull this out. And I don't want them to win. I do not want them to win, and I do not want to pick Florida. I want Texas A&M to beat them. I want them to be embarrassed. And I'm just gonna. I want to pick against you guys just so I can gain some ground with Brian. But it's really hard to pick the Gators. I just don't like it. It being in the swamp. I don't know, man. It just I'm struggling here. That's why I asked you to put this one on here last minute. So I apologize, Kevin, for doing that to you guys. But I mean, I kind of think they just need to bounce back, and I'm going to go against the grain here. I'm going to go Florida. I don't want to. I really don't want to. I really think that Texas A&M is going to beat them by like 2 touchdowns, but I'm just going to pick against the grain here to be different, I guess. So
okay. I'm going to give you the same line you gave me when I picked Michigan. Wasted pick.
Yep. Right. And I was right.
Yes, you were.
So Grady Darcy says the Gators suck. Dad says A&M 31-20. Akaki says Lagway is his name. Yep.
Yes,
I think Grady Darcy says 44-19 Texas A&M. John Akaki says 24-17 Florida. Interesting. Let's see. Hunter Ivy says, as much as I want the Aggies to win Florida by 3. Woo.
I'm not the only one drinking tonight. That's great.
I like it. I like it. Paul Patrisco says, Gators by who cares? I like it. I like it. All right. Let's go on to this next one here. All right. Bama at Wisconsin. Ooh, I got a lot of thoughts on this game, guys.
I want to hear them.
So here's my thoughts. When is the last time Alabama has traveled this far in the regular season?
It was not during the Saban era.
It was never during the Saban era. Never. Last week, and I was going to pull it on the penalties, but I can't remember. The penalties that Alabama had in last week's game was horrific. It was a lot. Let's just put it that way. They had 3 fumbles last week. How many of those errors are going to continue over to this week? Those type of errors against a Wisconsin team coached by Luke Fickell could result in Wisconsin being in this game late in the fourth quarter and could result in a win. So I am with Grady Darcy when he says Wisconsin in overtime, 38-36. I think Wisconsin pulls it off in the very end and wins it by 3. I'm going Wisconsin.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Talking to me?
Thank you. No, I am talking to Brian. There is no way Wisconsin is going to win this game. Not going to happen. Not this year. Not going to happen. They struggled against Western Michigan. 28-14 was that final score. They struggled against South Dakota. 27-13 was that final score. This is not going to be close. I got Alabama 42-24.
I like it.
I'll just go with Kevin. I don't think it's going to be close. I think just Alabama had a bad game. They ended up still pulling it out pretty well. I want to see, for my Bama fans who are listening, I want to see Wisconsin roll their cheese all over you. But I'm telling you, it's not going to happen.
No.
John Akaki says 31-17, no Swiss cheese. Paul Patrisco says too much speed. Bama 32, Cheeseheads 24. Grady Darcy says those words will be tasty on Monday. John Akaki says beating against Alabama is alarming, Brian. Yeah, I just didn't see a very sharp team, and I hadn't seen a very sharp Alabama team yet. So, Hunter Ivy says Wisconsin by 3, riding with Brian. I like it. I like it. Good deal. Good deal. All right.
Baby.
Well, we're going to make some ground on him this week, Matt.
Maybe. All right, LSU at South Carolina. Woo! This one's tough too, guys. Very tough. They have LSU lined out by 6. And I went back and forth on this one. You just never know what team's going to show up for South Carolina. That is the problem. One week, you'll have a world beater. The next week, they crap the bed. And so because of that, I'm going LSU all day long. LSU wins this one by, I'm going to go 10 points, by 10. I don't even know what the score is going to be. I just think they'll win by 10. All right. Kevin?
I am going to follow the trend with, what they're favored by. I've got LSU by 6, 38-32. I think it's going to be a hard-fought game. I think they're going to go in, and since South Carolina is coming off that big win against Kentucky, I think they're going to crap the bed on this one. They're just going to be riding that high, thinking that they can beat the world. They're going to be world beaters, and LSU is going to come in to prove them wrong. I got them 38-32 LSU.
I like it. Matt?
What's up? You guys don't love the sandstorm?
No.
How many times are we going to hear that?
No, too many times. All right, I'm literally with you guys. I think LSU will win. I don't think LSU we thought they were at the beginning of the season. We thought we were going to see stellar quarterback play, and it's been hit and miss with them. I really think, like you said, Jekyll and Hyde with South Carolina. Just going to stick with LSU. I will say though, last time all of us picked LSU to win a game. Every time last year and this year, we picked LSU to win a game. They lost.
Ugh.
I went back and checked it. So last year, every time all three of us picked LSU to win a game, they lost it.
Ugh. I don't want to hear that.
We're sorry, LSU.
All right, so Grady Darcy says Tigers versus the Chickens. LSU losers 49 to Chicks 35. Hunter says LSU 27-17. Akaki says the Gamecocks a surprise 27-21. Dad says LSU and Carolina are unpredictable, but he's going LSU 33-21. Sanders is the real deal. Saunders too. And Paul says Tigers. South Carolina might be a little cocky this week. Pun intended.
Nice.
LSU 28-13. I like it.
Tigers.
All right. Boston College and Missouri. Woo! This one's going to be another tough one. What do you think, Matt?
So I think we're basing the Boston College based off their one win over a terrible FSU team. And so, but once again, this Missouri team has really not played anybody really this year, and they lost a lot of their firepower on defense. So they're going to get tested in the trenches this week. They're going to be tested. Is that their backups defense actually stop this run game from BC. So I'm going to stick with the SEC biasness, and I'm going to stick with Missouri. I think this is one of their biggest games they're going to have of the year. They weren't planning on it being, but it's going to be, and I want Missouri to win.
Yeah, I'm going to go Missouri too. That's going to be a good game though. I'm looking forward to seeing what the offense from Boston College can do. But yeah, I think Missouri just overpowers them in the end with more depth. Kevin?
I am also going with Missouri. This is going to be pretty much a slaughter, I think. I'm going 45-28 Missouri.
I like it. All right, let's see. Grady Darcy wants to know what his record is versus the panel. Grady, we haven't been keeping up, buddy. Akaki says Missouri 35-14 easy. Grady says Mizzou big 41-17. Dad says 28-24 Mizzou. I like it. And Paul says it's going to be a great game in Missouri 35, Boston College 23. Yeah, I'm looking forward to watching that game. I think it's going to be a good one for sure. Hunter Ivy says Missouri wins but doesn't no cover close game decided in fourth. 31-27. All right. So this is the one I think we just chose it because it was in Georgia State. It's going to be Vanderbilt at Georgia State in Atlanta. I don't know the last time that Vanderbilt's come and played in Georgia other than playing Tech and UGA. So what's your thoughts on this one, Matt?
I mean, we got the superstars right now. We got the mighty Fighting Commodores, and I think we should give them a little bit of love. And are they actually better this year, or is this just part of the 4-game win streak that I have them pre-planned from the beginning of the year? I'm going to say yes. It's the part of the 4-win streak that they have, and then they have this game, then the next game, and then they're done for wins the rest of the year. So I'm going to give them a little bit of love while it lasts. So I'm going to go with the Vanderbilt on the road.
Kevin?
I'm also going to go with Vanderbilt. I think they got a little more something than what they've had in the past. I think they got some things clicking. It's a positive turn for that university. Kudos to them. But I've got them 42-24 Vandy.
I like it. I'm going Vanderbilt as well. Vanderbilt played Chattanooga. I've got it all mixed up here. Tennessee plays Chattanooga. The very first game of the season, they trounced Chattanooga 69-63. Well, Georgia State played them last week and barely beat Chattanooga by 3 points. I just don't see them being able to stand up with Vandy. And so because of that, I'm going to go Vandy. Vandy easily going to win this game in Atlanta. Let's see. Hunter Ivy says Vandy 38-17. Khaki says Gloria Vanderbilt collection available at dealers now. Paul Patrisco says anchor down. Vandy has Mo. Vandy 34, Georgia State 16. Dad says Vandy 27-20. Grady Darcy says Vandy 28-18. And Akaki says Vandy on the rise 27-20. I like it. I like it. All right. Well, apparently my side didn't update for the Georgia-Kentucky game. So, guys, what you say for Georgia-Kentucky?
Oh man! So I guess I'll start out with it. And I mean, they mentioned it during the Tennessee Tech game last week when these two teams play. When they play in Athens, the point spread is 24 points versus the winning versus the losing team. But when they go to Kroger Field, my field, all right, it is a 10-point difference in win to loss. So for some reason, every time we go to Lexington, the weather hates us there. If it's not freezing cold or snowing, it's raining, or there's 27-mile-per-hour winds, something's going on, and now there may be more rain coming their way. Maybe it will be done by the time the game starts tomorrow night. But it just is a tough place to play. And I think Smart's going to get there and be like, hey, let's just get this game in. Let's get out of here without any injuries. Let's get to the bye week and prepare for Alabama. So that kind of scares me a little bit. And we also have two guys like we talked about. We got Vandegrift and we got Pops who understand both sides of our ball. They know it. And if you don't think that they've disclosed all that information to their coaching staff, you guys are crazy. So yeah, I think now having the headset is going to be the key thing for us this year, because in the past, they know our signs, and so I think we're going to pin heavily on those on the mics in the helmet this year to really make an impact, because they're going to know, they're going to say, hey, they're in this formation, they got 4 plays to go around this, or they're in this formation, they got 5 plays around this, and so they know what's going to happen. So it could be tough sledding the first part of the game. Let's just hope that offensive line is as terrible as they looked last week, and so our defense can eat up all day long. It'd be great to get a defensive touchdown to sway that crowd and get that crowd going home early tomorrow night. But I'm telling you, something about that stadium is just rough. So getting out there with a win is the main focus. Out of the win with healthiness would be great.
Totally agree. Yeah, I think that the weather. I looked at the forecast before we started the show. Weather forecast looks like I think it's supposed to be 86 and sunny, and so the rain that we originally thought was going to be up there, that was going to ruin the weekend, doesn't appear that it's going to be there. So I'm looking forward to a great game. I think that because of that, the Dogs are going to start fast. But yeah, let's just expect this to be a game between the trenches, like it always is. I'm going to go 38-10 with the Dogs winning. I do think Kentucky figures out a way to score a touchdown and get a field goal on the board for sure. Kevin, what's your thoughts?
I think this one is always a nail biter. Brian, I think you can attest to this. We have sat in Sanford Stadium in the rain watching Kentucky play us. It's always a miserable game when we play Kentucky. It doesn't matter where we play them, whether we play them at home or away. But I know this, the Dogs come in and they fight, and they do not give up, and they do not stop. So with that being said, I'm looking at the points that we have allowed this season so far. 6. We have allowed 2 field goals this season so far. That's it. So I think that's all they're going to allow in this game. I've got them winning this game huge, 42-6.
I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it too.
Let's see. Paul Petresco says this game is usually in October, and it definitely is. Kyle Vincent says, I think it'll be close and it's going to be wet. Kyle just looked again at the schedule. at the weather forecast while we were sitting here. No rain. 7%.
That's awesome.
7% chance of rain. So it is going to be amazing. Low.
The weather guys are always right.
We're going to cross our fingers this time, Matt.
Start knocking on some wood there, Matt. So yeah, weather's looking good. We're gonna hope that it stays that way. DTEP says 35-6 Dogs. Hunter Ivy says Dogs 41-6. Grady Darcy says you can tell a group of kindergartners a game plan, but they can't stop these men. I like it, Grady. I totally agree. Akaki says history doesn't repeat itself tomorrow night. Sunny, 87, clear 2 at kickoff, 80 degrees. Yep. Paul Petrisco says, oh yeah, I just went over that one. And Kyle Vincent says I'm wrong most of the time. Good stuff. All right, guys. Any final keys to the game? Anything that you want to see happen this week that we haven't seen from the Dogs in the past?
I will give my score. I said mine is going to be 31-6.
Oh, I'm sorry, dude. I thought you given your score.
I did not. I gave you a lot of rambling and didn't give you a score. So that's on me.
My apologies.
No, like I said, I'll continue. I want health. I want the guys to get through the game healthy. I would love to see more of this run game take hold, like Kevin was talking about. But ultimately, I don't think we need to worry about Heisman numbers. If we get into one of those games, it'd be great. Fourth quarter, all gunner. But ultimately, I want health. We need a bye week with healthy players, not going a bye week wondering if a guy's going to get healthy for the Alabama game.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt, 100%. I think if we control the line of scrimmage, I think we will be fine. Like I was highlighting before, these guys are huge on defense, man. That's where their strength is. So we've got to get in the trenches and control that line of scrimmage. And if we can do that, we will be golden.
Grady Darcy says he wants to see the Dogs run for 300 yards.
That would be
awesome. I'd love to see that too. If our running game can be effective, we're going to bust something up, a big play open with Arian Smith. And I'll be honest with you, I want to see Carson Beck's long ball be more accurate. I think that for me, if he can fix those issues and scare some defenses over the top, all that's going to do is open up the running lanes for some underneath slants. It's going to open up our running backs to be able to break off some big runs. And so he's got to be able to fix that, right? And we got to get some of these other receivers involved that hit on some big plays last year. And I definitely want to see our buddy Arian Smith bust out a big one like he did in the Orange Bowl. But anyhow, that is what I'm looking for. Any final thoughts? Let's see if we got any final comments here. Yep. Akaki says, thank you, gentlemen. Great job. Yeah, thank you, sir, for participating in our show each and every week. Yep. And folks, definitely thank you guys for commenting and being on the show this week. It's been an absolute blast. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. Any final thoughts, Matt?
Go Dogs, baby.
I love
Go
it.
Dogs.
I love it. All right, let's run this thing out. All right, fellas, we are headed to Lexington. We're not headed there, but our good friend Grady Darcy is going to Lexington. So, Grady, be thinking about the Dog Pound as you head up to Lexington, to Kroger Field. Bring us back a dub for the Dog Pound, and we will be back on here next week to recount the big win that we're going to have in Lexington. I'm Brian, Matt, Kevin with the Dog Pound. Good night. Go Dogs.
Go Dogs.